problem with the linked lists and this yeah, that's it. So we're going to draw a bunch of nodes. Basically, a linked list is a series of nodes that are connected together. In a node, so let's put that key vocabulary up here, node, there's always going to be two parts. There's going to be the data, and then there's really going to be the pointer. And this is just where the address is stored. The data, don't think about it as being just one thing. Like, for example, a number or a letter. It could be more than one thing. I mean, right, we could fit an entire class in here. You know, we could put an integer. We could put in a double or a string. But we could also put an entire class. Like if we made a person class, we could put a person object in there. Like it's a storage compartment for data. Who knows how much stuff is going in there, but that's where our data is being held. In this case, we're storing two things in here. There's the name and there's a score. I'm going to take this from a student. I forget who was going to do this. Maybe Aman was saying this. I'm just going to put in their initials, BP, so for Boris Penn, and I'm going to store in a value of 18 there. So that should say Boris Penn, just to be clear, and it's a value of 18. That's stored into the data section. I'm doing that one first because this asked me to do descending order, and so we should link on to the next one, which is going to be Ann Taylor, A-T, and we also need to put the number in here, 10. For the IB, they're not going to focus so much on getting this data exactly right. They're looking for the structure of the linked list, which looks like this. And so we go from 18 to 10, and then let's see, next one is 9. So let's do PH, and we'll do 9. And this could be quotation. Again, the data there is not going to matter so much. Right? And then we're going to put the rest of these in here. So this will be IT and 8, and then we'll link back around. This doesn't have to look like this. I'm just running out of space. And this will be ML for Mary Ludi, 7, this. And now in here, you could do a couple different things. You can just put in null, like the sign like that means null. You could also draw this as a line to null. Or there's a few other kind of fancier ways of doing it. Yeah, and so that's basically it. Now there's one thing that we didn't include in this one that we should have, and that's the pointer to the head. Because if you imagine, there's this linked list out here, great, but if we can't access it, who cares? So what we need to have is some sort of header, which basically just is going to point to the beginning of the linked list. So when we create a linked list object, when we create a linked list variable, that's just going to point to the very first item in the list. And then that item will point to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, and then finally finish in null. So there's 3 key points. There's a start. It's basically start, finish, and the middle stuff. Start, finish, and the middle stuff. So in the start, it's going to be our pointing to the head, and then the finish is going to be a null, and in between, it's going to be nodes. How about we say connected nodes? And so these 3 items are always going to be there. Start, middle, finish. It makes sense, right? We need to have all the data in the middle. We need to have some place to start, and we need to know when we've gotten to the end of the list. Okay. Last thing I'll say about this one is that it did mention that it's a singly linked list. That's a specific type of list that we've done so far, where one thing just connects to the other. The 2 other options that we don't need to know for this, but just to keep your head up about this one, there's a doubly linked list, and there's a circular linked list. Both of them are almost identical. There's just some small things different between them, but we'll discuss that next time.